Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV. Now, while I'm going through and doing some of these missions so we can finish up our journey through the Churning Mists, which we have to go to the Royal Promenade next for that one, I just want to say that I appreciate the feedback that you guys gave at the last part. I'm not recording this one live on Twitch, and it wasn't so much that it was the feedback I got told me not to do it. It told me to prepare that type of Healer Happy recording better. So I do really appreciate the feedback. Most of you had the same feedback in that if I am going to do a live recording on Twitch, either read the question out loud if I'm answering somebody's questions, which you guys seem to enjoy. That was the one part that pretty consistently people enjoyed the most about Healer Happy with the live stream version. Was that I was able to answer more questions. I was able to take on a variety of topics while playing through some of the more tedious tasks like going through the Churning Mists and finding the ether currents. It also made for some better reactions. I got some feedback regarding that. But the big thing was when somebody says a question, instead of just answering it, I should read it back or put the chat somewhere on the screen so that people can read along. So while I try to determine which one of those two things is better, personally, I think reading the question is probably the better choice. And I just turned my volume down a little bit because I've been having some issues with audio clipping again. And I don't know why, because I didn't have issues with audio clipping for a while. And then randomly I just started getting audio clipping issues again. So I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Also, if it's just me or is the music a little bit too loud at 71? Let's bring it down a notch. Bring it down a notch, Scotty. I did get some feedback saying that I should probably keep it from being live. The benefits of doing it live are so big that it's hard for me to just outright say I won't do live Healer Happy recordings anymore. One of the biggest things like this week, I'm recording this video right now. It's 11:16 in the morning. You can see that at the top right. And why is it so beneficial that I could record it live? Well, I had to end my stream early to go get a haircut. I could have ended it at 11 and gone to get my haircut and then come back and did count up cast, but instead I had to end it at 10, go get the haircut, and then record this. Not that that's a major thing, but if I was able to more reliably record even just a handful of them live, like only if I like really don't have the time to put aside for it, it would have helped a lot. And then on top of that, right after I'm done recording this, I may even just record 2 parts in a row. I may just do this and then go unlock Astro and do Palace of the Dead. I may even unlock Astro in this part. I guess it depends on if I'm able to get through. Pretty much all I'm trying to accomplish right now is getting to unlocking the next dungeon, the Aery. Because the Aery I want to be its own part, because it's probably going to take me about 25-30 minutes to complete that dungeon. So along with that, I want to bring my Astrologian into Palace of the Dead because I want to show all the benefits of Palace of the Dead, do a full Duty Finder clear of Palace of the Dead, and we can see how that goes. So it's just that if I was able to record it live, it would have been better. But I do value your feedback, and I don't want to rush into the next episode being live. I want you guys to continue to enjoy the series, especially those of you who are supporting it on Patreon, making it so I can reprioritize certain things. And I got asked another pretty important question. Oh, this is the Machinist Unlock quest, by the way, for anyone wondering. So I got asked another important question. How does Patreon actually enable the Healer Happy series to return? It's a fair question because people are putting their money into the Patreon to help support the content on the channel. And, you know, my stream schedule hasn't changed at all. Well, I mean, it hasn't changed since I started Count Up Cast, which is 7 hours a day. So how does this actually help me produce more content? Well, no matter what the content I want to get done, I'm going to get done. I'd say that's the biggest thing. But I'm always looking at things from 2 perspectives. I'm looking at it from how much I want to do the content and how viable it is that I make the video. And when it comes to things like Savage Guides, truth be told, that's where my priorities would be right now if there wasn't, you know, an outcry on Patreon to bring back certain pieces of content. That was my follow notification from Twitch, but I am not live, so let me turn that off so it doesn't make any more sounds. Okay, there we go. Now that that's turned off. Now we can get back to our regularly scheduled program without Kefka laughing. And it really is a shift in priorities, because what would ultimately happen with the Let's Play series and with Bestiary series is I would, you know, go through one recording, right? And after going through one recording, what would happen is I'd be like, okay, so that took me 40 minutes to record. All right, now let me start rendering it. Okay, I want to render this in a quality that like people can watch it. Like it's got to be decent quality render if people are gonna sit there and watch it for 40 minutes. So what do? I got to make sure that it's 1080p, 60 frames per second. I got to render an MP4. I'm even doing 2-pass rendering now. I figured out how to do that in Sony Vegas. It's just a little tiny checkbox that I've been missing all this time. So I do that, and there you go. Now that's gonna take what would have probably been an hour and a half render without the double pass and turn it into a 3-hour render. And so that's 3 hours 40 minutes. All that time, I actually have it rendering on a different computer, so I can get something else done on this computer. But then there's only a limit. I can only do that with up to 2 objects. So if I'm gonna choose between like a dungeon guide and a raid guide or a news piece, you know, all of these things come into play. And I think I just unlocked the Aery. Yep, into the Aery. Maybe I could just do the Aery in this part. We're only 5 minutes into the video. Might be able to just do finish up the Churning Mists and the Aery. But wait a minute. There's got to be another quest at some point that I didn't do. I'll have to check it out after this because I think I'm still missing 2. Yeah, I'm missing 2 quest-related ether currents. So I might have walked past one. I was talking for a pretty extended period of time right there. So it's possible that I just walked right past it. Let me double check. Dravanian, freedom of choice. It's Dravanian 4 lands. That doesn't even make sense. Into the Aery. That gives me a mount. That gives me an ether current. There are actually a couple more quests in the Churning Mist even after I complete the Aery. So maybe that's how it'll work. Okay. There's going to be a cutscene here. I skip it, and then I believe it immediately unlocks the Aery. Yeah. Because this is the cutscene I just skipped. The Aery now accessible. You know what? I'm going to queue right into that, because that way I can actually do Palace of the Dead in the next part. And this is actually a dungeon that... It's not very different, but it's the first dungeon... Well, I guess Samal's really the first dungeon. I see people struggle in this dungeon a lot. The mechanics aren't very well shown. It's really down to deductive reasoning, and the fact that these mechanics aren't so severe that they'll wipe you immediately, except on the last boss where things can get pretty hairy. Yeah, I get it. Things get pretty hairy. It's called the... Okay, I just lost the number of fans. Alright, so I'm going to join the queue for that. Oh, and in case you're wondering why I'm like 56.5 when the last time I did a video I wasn't even level 56, or I had just hit 56 or something. I've been taking some time during my live stream to just do do literally 1 trial, 1 leveling roulette. That's it. You guys know how much I've spoken about trying to stay ahead of the leveling curve. But while I'm waiting for this queue, so let me finish my point about Patreon. So it helps me reprioritize the content for the people that really, really want a specific piece of content. And it means that I can prioritize it and get that recording done, get it out consistently, and then I can focus on the stuff that I was going to do anyway, but I was prioritizing it over this, and then by the time I'm done prioritizing one of those, I have to prioritize another one, and it's just been working a lot better. That was a great return to Bestiary. It seems a lot of people really enjoyed my Arc Bestiary. In fact, if I were to go to YouTube right now and check it out, it's I think it's had a pretty decent return. Yeah, it's almost at 10,000 views. And it's really good when I pick bestiaries for things that are new in Final Fantasy XIV, even though it's a bestiary about the entire history of a character in Final Fantasy. When I pick something that's very recent in Final Fantasy XIV, that's when it shows the most success. So, great return for bestiary. Healer Happy's had a decent return. Part 83 did okay. Part 82 did pretty friggin' well. And overall, I'm just hoping that with the support that we can get these series back to the point where, and keep in mind, that's another thing. If any of these series prove to be like effective over time, I'm not going to lock them behind Patreon anymore. I think Healer Happy will always be kind of locked behind Patreon, but like Bestiary, the fact that it's almost at 10,000 views in the weekend is kind of a sign that I should do a different Patreon reward, and that I should consistently return Bestiary to the channel. It was never that bad on the channel. but I was starting to run out of ideas and motivations. That was really the big one there. But luckily, you guys have been submitting ideas, so we may have to just replace that Patreon reward with a different one and bring that back permanently. I'll give it a few more weeks to see how it pans out as I do some of the other characters. But there's a lot of factors here, and I really want to bring you guys more of what you want, but also have the freedom to do more of what I want. So it's a delicate balance. I'm gonna do my best for you guys. But on that note, we're gonna have to do the Aery in a little bit. It hasn't popped yet, so I'm gonna edit out just a little bit here until the queue for it actually pops, and hopefully that's in the next couple of minutes. I'll see you when the queue pops. All right, it only took about another minute for it to. Oh. Okay, it's back again. It's like they knew. This happens a lot whenever I'm doing Healer Happy, doesn't it? Where I go to, I'm like, oh, my queue popped. Let me get back to recording the video, and it's gone. Both these DPS. Oh, okay. Both the DPS press yes at the same time, apparently. All right, so the Aery is a level 55 dungeon, and it's part of the main story. You will have to do it to progress the main story. And it's made up of 3 bosses, and the trash itself is not anything too special, but a lot of people move through this dungeon at kind of a weird pace. You'll understand what I mean pretty quick when you see how much sort of empty space there is in the dungeon. Okay, he's got stone skin now. So, warrior, monk, machinist, white mage, pretty good composition for this dungeon. Decent amount of AoE, decent amount of single target. Hypercharge is always great, especially with a warrior, tank, and a monk DPS. Now, the big thing about this dungeon is for the first part, there's going to be lightning strikes occasionally. And what that can mean as a healer is if you're really trying to wait till the last second, there's a lightning strike right there, to heal, and one of those lightning strikes comes out, it can be pretty obnoxious. So I just realized also, yes, I am level 56, and no, I have not unlocked the level 56 skill. So we're actually doing this at a reasonable pace. So some people prefer to run the entire dungeon's length, or the entire, like, 5 mobs. There's, like, another set of mobs up ahead. And then they'll stop and kill them. But this guy's actually doing it at, you know, 1 pack at a time. It's slower, but it allows me to kind of show you the dungeon a little bit more. So I'm actually kind of happy it ended up working out that way. I also have to regen him. He's using defensive cooldowns also as tanks. If you didn't realize it in Samal, you should realize it here. A lot of this stuff hits really freaking hard if you're not careful. I like the stone skin tanks in between pulls. You guys remember that? It's been a while. Looks like Wolf and the Monk have played through a few dungeons together. I'm actually going to go for a little bit of Holy here. But first, I want to give this guy a little bit of love. Now, this set of mobs hits quite a bit harder. But as soon as I get the Holy out, it should be fine. You guys remember that Holy has an AoE stun aspect to it. So you can get a couple of those out and still land a heal. Because of the stun, you shouldn't have to worry too much about your tank's HP. But always keep it in mind. That's the important thing to do. Always keep it in mind. You don't want to just ignore your tank's HP. But don't forget also, you do have Benediction. If you want to go ham on DPSing a big pull, as long as you hit that Benediction in time, which I think my Benediction... I don't remember what the Benediction looks like. I think it's this, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So it's in the same spot. I did that on purpose. I made it so that it was on my left trigger, so that way I could just press it while I was DPSing. And since it goes through Cleric Stance, it works really, really well. Oh, they just... Somebody just noticed it was me. Oh, no. It happens again. I'm caught. I'm caught. Oh, man. That's funny. Somebody knows who Healer Happy is. That's funny. Oh, so one thing. I noticed the Machinist is using his Rook auto turret on 2 targets. Just remember that the Bishop auto turret becomes better as soon as you have 2 targets as opposed to 1. It's not that big of a deal, but I just like to make mention of it for any Machinists out there. I don't know why. I feel like my heals are just really, really weak. What weapon am I? Oh, yeah. Didn't I just get this weapon, too? I don't know. I just feel like my heals are kind of pathetic at this point. They're not supposed to be this pathetic, but I got the free cure proc at least. Alright. Well, I got caught, but he's not saying anything yet. Luckily, he feels pretty safe going Deliverance Although that stone skin is while he's in Deliverance, I'm going to give him 1 for Defiance. The stone skin in Defiance always more value than the stone skin in Deliverance. The HP difference is always worth it. Now on 2 targets, technically, I believe Holy is also still better. But I don't know. I always have a hard time convincing myself to Holy 2 targets. At least I'll double dot them first. And then do a couple of Holies. I got enough MP. Besides, remember, mitigation. The stun is always mitigation for your tank. Helps them feel safer. Taking a few risks. Interrupts a few abilities. And we're good to go. Oh, I got Cleric locked. I had a lot of issues with Cleric lock earlier today. I don't know why. I could not get myself to stop Cleric locking. Maybe my controller's just getting old and busted. It's not the controller's fault. People get Cleric locked all the time. It's not the controller's fault. Can't blame the controller for that one. Alright, so this is the first boss, Rangda. Pretty simple boss, but a boss that most newer players are probably going to run into issues on. I'm actually going to focus target him. He's got a few attacks that you got to watch out for. He's got a cleave right there. Luckily, we have a warrior tank, so he should be able to handle that no problem. So, Electric Cachexia, this is the first attack that he has. And this should, if I'm not mistaken, knock us all back. No, that's a cone attack. Okay, wow. He went right into Electric Cachexia. So, Electric Cachexia just does a donut AoE around him. As you can see, it hit... did it? Yeah, no, it didn't even hit our Machinist. And it was perfectly fine. Wow, we're just skipping phases, that's why. So when you get a tether in this fight, your goal is to go and drop that tether at a nearby statue. It pulverizes the statue for the rest of the fight, but it just makes it so that the explosion doesn't happen on you. This is the attack I thought he was going to do. So he does Electrocution, and then he does Electric Cachexia. So you have to get knocked out and then run back in. I see most of the time new players get hit by this, but my group seems to be fairly experienced with the mechanic. Ionospheric Charge, this is where he marks somebody with a mechanic. This is where he, so he marked the tank. Sometimes, later in the fight, he also starts summoning these ads. Doesn't matter if you're the tank, just drag him away. You should be fine. He also heavies people, so it's harder for them to dodge mechanics. I'm going to Medic a 2 again. And then that's it. That's the whole fight. As soon as you've seen that, you've seen the whole fight. I'm actually going to regen him again. Oh, I got a free cure proc. Remember, always be using those free cure procs. The MPU save is well worth it. Ionic Spheric Charge. And at that point, like I said, you've seen the whole fight. Just gotta watch out for the slow on the ads. Makes it a little bit harder to dodge sometimes. I like to immediately Arrow 1. And also, there's more lightning bolts the whole time, too. He dropped it off. And these things have, like, almost no health. Look at how much damage I deal. It's a pretty fast kill. Normally, these take a little bit longer. Electrocution, gonna knock us back. If you're in a line AoE, by the way, I'd recommend trying to stand in a line with each other with that electrocution attack, because it will hit you multiple times if you guys are all stacked on top of each other. Yeah, our tank is fine. I should be able to just DPS through this Ionic Sphere. We all should just be able to DPS through it. Doesn't matter who it really lands on. Boss almost dead. And I think if you stand too close to the statue, it still causes issues. Oh, I gotta get rid of that for him. Awesome. Easy first boss. Alright, so we got Scouting and Fending. Let me do this. So this funny thing, this drop used to actually deal damage to you when you did the drop. But now you can just jump down. That was a similar issue that they had in Hullbreaker a long time ago. And they've since remedied it. Oh, it's only me and him. It's alright. It's not like I'm starved for MP or anything. Alright, so right here, a few traps, a few strong enemies. I just like to keep my stone skin up through this, so I wait a second before running. Look at that. They even stopped short of the attack. I thought that he had to drop farther than that. So our tank is asking if we want to kill this big dragon. Completely optional to kill the slumbering dragon. As you can see, he's got a sleep debuff for an hour. You just need to kill... If you kill these broodlings too close to it, or if you step too close to it, you do wake it up. I think it's guarding a treasure chest? No, this one's not guarding a treasure chest. Another one is, though. Alright, so I'm gonna holy the hell out of these things. Most groups, and if they're not pulling the Slumbering Dragon, they just run all the way up to the end. It's common, but it's not the only way for the dungeon to be done, of course. And also, these broodlings, don't let them intimidate you, because what they regularly do is they're gonna explode when they die, and a lot of people just panic and they think it's like it's gonna injure them. Okay, that time it didn't. All it does is it really just wakes up any slumbering dragons that are nearby. So as long as you don't fight them near a slumbering dragon, then you won't have to worry about it. Can this thing be knocked back? No, it cannot. Whew. That's a relief for me. So we're gonna have another one of those dragons cleave through the group here in a second. Yep, see, he waits right before the point. Well, not right before. He took a bit of a hit there. We got a treasure coffer that usually has some loot in it. Twin belt of scouting. No healing loot. Not getting lucky with this healing loot. But we're moving through this dungeon pretty quick. This pull, if you do the full pull here, this hurts a lot, actually. Luckily, this guy is not doing that pull. And he's pretty good at holding aggro. So I just need to make sure that this guy doesn't eat knobs. He's fine. He's got a regen. Did I was going to say, did I ever give myself the eye for an eye? I remember telling myself I needed to actually start using eye for an eye a lot in like a previous part. And did that stun everything? Yes, it did. Stuns are mitigation. Holy is the best mitigation that I have in dungeons, and I love every second of it. There's still a couple more pulls after this too. So, kill that smoldering dragon. That's not a slumbering dragon. There's a few more slumbering dragons coming up, though. So keep that in mind. I had to be a little bit careful there, but he's inside the bubble. He should be fine. I got a free cure proc. Just going to use it. Did I use that free cure proc too late? I did, didn't I? Sad face. 56. Level 56. That's not Tetragraviton. Tetragraviton, I mean. I can't remember what ability that is, but I'll have to grab it in the next part before I continue on with the main story. Ah, he's good. Perfect. Perfectly timed stone skin. Oh, I got a free cure. Might as well use it to top him off real quick. I even got the overcure. Overcure, oh man, I almost never get to use overcure procs. It's so rare that you need to cure 3 outside of raid. Even then, odds of you having an overcure proc when it happens, not very high. Again, another situation where some people opt to pull the Slumbering Dragon, some people opt not to. It's up to you, really up to you and your group, I should say. I didn't see if he got hit by that or not. He's got a free cure proc, but I got a few stuns here. That's not an MP turret, is it? That's a TP turret. It's gotta be. I don't know why we have the TP turret on. I don't know who needs it right now. Yeah, he's taken. These things hit really hard. Like, I wasn't messing around when I said these things hit hard. They hit really friggin' hard. Oh, it's because he's AoEing. I don't know why he. I mean, I guess yeah. If you're AoEing. And you know the pull's going to take a while, the Rook turret is technically the better choice. It's just not something I see all too often. Also, not using Shroud of Saints enough. Yeah, see that explosion? That just wakes... That doesn't deal any damage to us. That just wakes up any nearby slumbering dragons. Do I have any ethers at all? No? I suck. Alright, I'm going to take it easy then here. He's gonna need much lovin' on a pull like this. See those little fire breath attacks? That's what makes him take so much damage. It's those little tiny fire breath attacks. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to waste too much MP on holying here. It's just a bad idea. This guy, on the other hand, let me give him a regen while I'm at it. Oh, we got the free cure, baby. Free cure is the best cure. I've gotten a lot better at placing those down too. I'm proud of myself. half my cooldown is back up. That's only 2 bad guys here. I can do a double holy real quick. And still be okay. Alright, and now I just chill out. I shouldn't need to heal him anymore with that regen up. Wasn't a cleric regen, thankfully. Alright, and we are at the second boss then. Pretty decent XP. The pugilist, or the monk I should say, hit 59 on that one, so he's doing alright. I shouldn't hit 57 off this. It takes like 3 or 4 of these to hit 57, but from 57 to 60, man, the vault and the level 59 dungeons are great for leveling. So this guy, Gyakadus, is that his name? He's pretty annoying. Admittedly, I get very annoyed by this boss. He doesn't deal a whole lot of damage at the start of the fight, but his mechanics aren't entirely obvious either. And he's got quite a few of them. So he's got that cleave. He's also got a disease. He's going to drop on a few people here. So he uses his attack called Fall of Man. And what it does is it summons these, see that cloud right there? So one of the ways to deal with those clouds is to have somebody from the group eat them, especially if it's a melee. I like to eat them as the healer though, because it's easier for me to keep track of my own health. And he's going to summon these bombs that eat the clouds. But for every cloud on the field, the boss gains a stack. And for every stack, he deals more and more damage. So you don't want him to have those stacks. Here, if I focus target him, as soon as he summons that cloud, see how he gets a damage up stack? The mustard gases will eat them, and that's actually fine. You don't have to stop the mustard gases from eating all of them. Just make sure it doesn't eat too many of them. That's the more important thing. So yeah, he just chain summons mustard gases. Oh, that guy's gonna eat shit. Yeah. He took that one to the face. Yeah, it's fine to just let it go over and eat the gas. You can't let him eat, I think, 3 of them. If it eats 3 of them, it gets really, really annoying. He even takes more damage if you let him eat the gas, but he grows in size eventually. And there you go. Just let them take care of a few of the things. It's better to do that than to deliberately get poisoned, because I can't actually remove that poison. So it's pretty obnoxious. Also, I'm cleric locked, so sad face. I might as well just Benny. What else am I going to use it on, right? So he's eating a second one now. What's really annoying about this fight is as a melee, okay, but now he gets maximum health up. Yeah, when he eats 2 of them, he gets maximum health up. That's the more annoying part about the fight, is that, what was I going to say? Is as a melee, if he keeps targeting you, he just surrounds himself with them. So unless the tank moves, you either just ignore positionals or you hate your life either way. So I guess that's all that really matters. And for this reason in the Duty Finder, this boss can live a really, really long time. Like way longer than he should otherwise live. And see how he's eating them all? Yeah. I mean, it's nice for us, but as a range, it doesn't matter all too much. All right, and if you just keep the amount of clouds down here and the fight really fast, then it goes okay. You want to let each mustard bomb eat 2 clouds, ideally, and with that, you should be in a pretty prime position to handle the entirety of the fight. It's just that it ramps up if you start doing it wrong. Like his damage ramp per stack is not that high, but it adds up. It adds up real quick. Another hard-hitting pull. Alright, I've got the cast. I've got the cast speed. The holy spam. Alright, just 3 of them. I got a freak cure proc I want to use. And the rest of the dungeon is pretty straightforward. There's some hard-hitting mobs, but nothing major. Nothing you really need to worry about. Unfortunately, these cloud chasers, Eye for an Eye doesn't really do much against cloud chasers, because all they do is like this. Oh no, never mind. They do physically hit. Maybe just didn't proc on them. And free cure. I'm gonna give him a stone skin. And then I'm going to wait till the last second, and then I'm going to give you a stone skin. I'm surprised he didn't switch to Deliverance just now with only one mob left. He's been doing that a lot, which I actually appreciate. He's been doing good mitigations, though, while doing it, too. Maybe he didn't have the right mitigations. Imagine if you could die right here to those things falling. That would be hilarious, in my opinion. Alright, I'm going to throw some dots up on it. He's going to pull it. This is pretty normal to pull this Sorngar and this Aery Diresaur. Pretty common thing to do. Now, this Diresaur, you've fought Diresaur type enemies before. Stone Vigil hard mode, if you've done, you'll remember this guy. Basically, all of his attacks have no AoE indicators, and so you just have to watch the animation that he has. If you see him rearing up his claw, like he does with his auto attack, like this right here, you know he's going to cleave in front of him in a second. Hits pretty hard. If you see him winding up his tail, that means he's going to do a tail swipe. And if you see him holding both his hands towards his face, it means he's going to do a breath attack. And then you just move out of the way, whatever the mechanic might be. Unlike the ones in Stone Vigil, though, this one actually, how do I say this? He auto attacks too. He doesn't deal too much damage, but I mean, it's better to learn how to dodge it than to not learn how to dodge it, right? Alright, we just got a few more pulls, and we are on to the last boss. Somebody I got a purple dye. Fantastic. That's totally what I wanted, was purple dye. I wanted healing loot, not purple dye, but, you know, it's close second. It's close second. Pretty short dungeon, too. We're, what, 21 minutes into the dungeon? A Grassitha. What kind of weapon is that? That is a spear. Okay. So, yeah, there's a chest there you can get a weapon from, and then the last boss will get a weapon also. These guys hit pretty hard. I always remember being surprised by how hard these guys hit every time I do this. The poison's also kind of annoying. Oh. I'm going to save my Asylum for the next part. Okay, maybe I should have used it right there. He's getting hit pretty hard. Like I said, always surprises me. The poison does not help, by the way. Especially because I'm trying to just get free cure procs right here. There's a pull where eye for an eye comes in handy. Free cure. No overcure, please. Ooh, another one. It's free cure heaven right now. Alright, no more free cures. I've outlived that. Well, at least he's got eye for an eye on. Alright, and this should be the last big pull. And this is a little gauntlet of ads. It starts with just that one, I think. Or no, just that one. And then as we're killing this one, a bunch more are going to join us. When the bunch more join us, it's time to holy. And then after the bunch more join us, the other two will join us. And then a bunch more will join us again, and we're fine. Can I knock this thing back? Please say no. Okay. Just to be sure. Alright, like I said, I like to keep this for this. So now we've got two more of the Aery ones. The down wyverns are pretty simple. They don't really deal a whole lot of damage. And then after we kill one of these two, then like 6 of those down wyverns are going to join, and then it's boss time. I wonder how much health he's getting back per tick. So it looks like he's getting about 1100 HP back every 3 seconds when I have the Asylum down. Asylum's only about 400 per tick, but it's still pretty good. Oh yeah, these things also have an AoE. As you can see, it doesn't deal that much damage, but damage is damage, you know? I'm Medicatooing on purpose because I want them all to come to me, baby. And that's for that reason. Couple of holies, and these guys don't know what hit them. Oh, we still have one more down wyvern. And we are good to go. Alright, and now we're on to the last boss of the Aery. That is Nidhogg, Not too difficult of a fight. One thing I recommend doing as a healer, keep an eye on Estinian. You can't stone skin him, apparently. I think you can eloquium him. Wait. No. I don't have swift cast. Okay. Whew. All right, now we're good to go. So if Estinian dies at any point, then the fight is over. So your goal is to keep him alive, especially through the second phase of the fight. For the first phase, Nidhogg's just gonna do his own thing here. He's got some AoEs. He's gonna shoot a bunch of AoEs at me in a second here. This next part gets pretty obnoxious. So this one's annoying. What he does is he picks a target and he just starts shooting AoEs at them. And there's no AoE markers. You just have to kind of know that he's looking in your direction. And then after like 2 to 4 of them, he'll then shoot them at everybody. There's one other mechanic that's coming up here in a second. Alright, he's doing the AoEs again. I only shot one of them. That means he's about to phase push. He's going to mark someone with an AoE in a second here. Or, he's going to mark somebody with something. Alright, he marked me. Alright. So what I'm going to do, so Sable Price, if that's not killed, then I die instantly. So it's mark number 1, and it's dead. Okay. And he does actually do some pretty decent damage for a dungeon boss. Like I said, nothing major, but like all these AoEs back to back. If you're like a newish player, this might be one of those fights that's kind of tough for you to know right off the bat how much cleric stance you can get away from. It's this phase right here that you want to watch out for. So he took quite a bit of damage. One thing you can do, however, is heal him. And if you're not helping with DPS, then make sure that Estinian's health is remaining at a decent amount. If he dies, the fight's over. However, also, if you don't kill these ads fast enough, fight's over. So as long as he's at a healthy amount, it's pretty safe to help DPS here a little bit. I don't want to waste all my MP, though, because the last part of the fight, depending on how long the first part took, can be pretty rough. A lot of the ads like to focus on Estinian, too, which doesn't help at all. A regen's usually more than enough, especially on ones like this. This one's going to do a breath attack straight up. Yeah, just does a breath attack straight up. The next one's going to land right on top of Estinian. And that's really where the DPS check comes in. Alright, and then there's going to be one that lands right on top of him. He's at full health, though, so I'm not worried about him dying, not even remotely. Even if this guy were to pull this attack off, which he looks like he might. And then as soon as this guy dies, everybody needs to stand next to Estinian. If you do not stand in the circle, again, you are dead. And that's why if Estinian dies, the boss immediately summons that circle. He's going to do a lot of damage right here. I think he does 2 of these bellows, and he does bellow breath, I think. Yeah. And then he's going to do the Sable Prince mechanic, which I like to always try to help DPS with. Yep, just gotta make sure. I don't care if this hits me, really. It didn't even hit me, surprisingly. Hey, listen, if you're dodging these attacks properly, this doesn't even deal damage. But there's like 5 of them, 4 or 5 of them. It's these AoEs after you gotta watch out for. Yeah, he's gonna take a hit. Nope, he's dead. He dies at like 5% also. You don't need to get him down to 1%. So it's a lot of damage for a boss fight, but I mean, after Sorkai, I'm sorry, not after Sorkai, after Samal, it's not that bad. It's something that you're probably used to at this point. Let's see, do we get loot? Nope, no loot. Not a single piece of loot. We got screwed, ladies and gentlemen. We got screwed. I swear I had a belt or something I wanted to equip. Belt of the Divine something. I think the belt is in my actual inventory. No. I could have swore I picked up some items that I wanted to equip. Oh yeah, there it is. It's the last item. I kind of wanted that equipped before we started, but Yeah, I may have forgotten till now. Yeah, and I don't really have anything else. I-120. I think... Yeah. Holy moly, I really have nothing in that on that front. Cool. Alright. I got 2 commendations. Awesome. Easy dungeon. We continue the main story after that. But that was a good one. That was a good dungeon. Skip these cutscenes, get out of here. And then in the next video, trying to determine. Oh, maybe this one gives me the last no. The song begins. Okay, the last ether current, maybe it's not a side quest. Maybe it's a main story quest. Maybe it's not that dungeon. Maybe it's like the quest after this or something like that. Anyway, we're almost done with the Churning Mist, ladies and gentlemen. In the next video, I am going to be going into Palace of the Dead. We're going to unlock either Scholar or Astrologian to go into Palace of the Dead. I think Scholar would probably be the better choice in terms of completion, because I can more comfortably DPS and heal at the same time with a Scholar, but it's also... Astro is probably, in my opinion, for me at least, the easier to play on controller. So it's a toss-up, but we'll be doing Palace of the Dead in the next part as a job other than White Mage. I'll probably go through and do a bunch of parts inside Palace of the Dead so you guys can get an idea of what that's like. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. Again, thank you to our supporters over on Patreon. If you're enjoying the Healer Happy series and if you're enjoying the content that I've been posting on my channel, consider supporting over on Patreon. It is in no way mandatory, but it is in every way appreciated. So I really appreciate those of you who have decided to pledge already, and I'm looking forward to producing more content for you as the months go on. Anyway, one last thank you, and until next time, everyone, take care.